Hi, and welcome back to Wilkie Wellness. Today, I want to talk to you about my own health and wellness journey. I know I've shared a little bit about what happened with my sister and my dad growing up, but today I want to share what happened to me. So, back in 2018, 5 years ago now, can't believe it's been that long, I started to have some health issues. I didn't know what it was, wasn't quite sure. I was working out, trying to get in better shape. A few months beforehand, I had been at the heaviest point in my life, just over 200 pounds, which for me at 5'8", might not look like a lot, but it was a good amount. I definitely looked obese, and I was. So I was working out for 2 or 3 months, eating better, getting in shape, when all of a sudden I started to have really bad stomach pains. I was using the restroom more and not just going number one, it was everything. I did see weight loss, and it didn't seem at a rate that was out of the ordinary, but I remember just kind of wondering what was going on, inside of me with my stomach. So I went to my primary care doctor, and they recommended me go to a gastro. The gastro, of course, wanted to see inside, so we had a colonoscopy scheduled. Mind you, I was only 24 at the time, so to have a colonoscopy at 24, I was the youngest person in that waiting room. Had the colonoscopy, they took some biopsies, and when the biopsies came back, they came back as acute inflammation instead of chronic. So what they were testing for to see if it was acute or chronic was if the biopsy had come back as chronic, it would have indicated that I had a chronic disease, like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Now, since I came back acute, the doctor, rightly so, thought that I had just a viral infection, that I'd get over it, a week maybe max, and I'd be fine. He put me on antibiotics, and less than a week later, I went to work that Friday. I was pale. My coworkers noticed that I was visibly in pain. I had at least 30 ulcers or more in my mouth. I lost count, honestly. I had an ulcer in my eye, and that day in particular, I couldn't eat or drink anything. I was in so much pain, like agonizing pain. So one of my coworkers convinced me to go to an urgent care, get tested for strep and mono, and see what it was. So I went. Both were negative. And right before I left the doctor's office, I couldn't even step 1 foot out of my room. I lost it. I threw up. So not only was I having issues with my stomach and going to the bathroom, but I was also not able to keep anything down, which I hadn't had anything that day either. So I remembered when I went to my primary care doctor, they had told me that if I were to throw up, to go straight to the ER. So that's what I did. I went straight to the ER. In the time it took me to get from urgent care to the ER, which is about 45 minutes, I threw up 5 more times. Yeah. I was not feeling good. It was not a good time. So I still didn't know what it was. At the ER, of course, they admitted me because I couldn't keep food down. That was the initial admit reason, was for unable to keep food and nutrition down. But there was still an underlying problem. While I was in the hospital, my dad took a picture of me, and I'll share it with you guys right here. In that picture, I remember him saying that moment he took that picture, he thought that his little girl was going to slip into a coma. I was so out of it. I don't even remember most of that hospital stay just because of how out of it I was. I was in pain, very bad pain. And I remember 3 days into the stay, I had a nurse that truly was a godsend, and she allowed the doctor to truly look at me. He had been overlooking all of my pain, overlooking all of my ulcers in my mouth, and overlooking just the actual state of how I was in. She got him to open up his eyes and truly look at me. And at that moment, he realized, oh my goodness, this is more than what I thought it was. They put me on steroids through my IV. Within 24 hours, I was good. Now, we still didn't know what the diagnosis was at this point, but later we would find out. So in my next videos, I'm going to dive more into what we found out that was, and how we found out what I had, and what I still continue to battle with today. So if you like what you see, like always, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I cannot wait to share more of my story with you all. Have a